I literally, every time I'm like so teary-eyed, I'm like, look at us go.
It's us. It's me. It's you.
Oh my God. I'm like literally actually crying. Okay, it's fine. I'm very emotional lately.
I'm going to cry, but for a totally different reason. I'm going to cry because this week,
basketball is back.
The NBA is back. And I love football. I grew up on football, but I love basketball. I love the game of basketball. And again, this is nothing against football, but wow, do I love basketball so freaking much. And
this is how Spencer and I met, was because of our love for basketball. We're both, as much as we both love football, we both grew up on football. I think like in our adult age, like we've both just like grown to love and appreciate basketball. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, obviously there's so much like basketball 24/7. There's games on games on games.
There's
and
82
it's just like,
games.
And 30 teams.
I love it. I literally love it so much. I did not grow up watching basketball. I like played some, but my grandparents were big actually basketball players. But like I'm from the South where we didn't have like an NBA team. So I didn't really care about basketball until the Warriors and the Cavs like run for whatever reason. And I remember I've always loved sports. So I remember watching LeBron James on the Heat with Dwayne Wade and everything. And I never loved LeBron James like most people love LeBron James. I love and loved Steph Curry. And he got me, like I watched every single game of that.
I thought I was Steph Curry.
Years. So I was definitely that bandwagon fan. So now I just say
As
I appreciate
you should.
it. I've learned you don't have to be a bandwagon fan, that you can just say you enjoy watching a team, even if you're not like the fan of that team. And now, and then I went to the University of Kentucky, and my senior year was the year that Devin Booker was there, Kat was there, everyone was there. And then Jamal Murray was in my freshman year class. And, you know, Gilgeous-Alexander went to Kentucky. I went to a basketball school, and that was a whole other, we went 38-0 my senior year, going where when I knew I was going into college. So it was like the best. It was just the best experience ever. And then I fell in love with Russell Westbrook during college. And then I fell in love with the Nuggets. And I just had to yap about how much I love basketball before we get into to the season preview.
That's me. No, and it's funny because I'm like the same way, because I like, I grew up on football, but I also grew up on basketball and hockey and all that stuff. Like my house was just like such a sport household, you know, with like my mom doing literal like sports statistics. Like she would do the stats still does for football and basketball for like the last couple of decades. And then she does, or used to do baseball stats and things like that. We always watch hockey in my house. My stepdad's a big hockey guy. And so I kind of grew up on all of it, and I got to watch and appreciate basketball, you know, from that standpoint. I got to go to games growing up. But I don't think I ever really like started appreciating it until high school. And then just like as I got older, because like I was playing in high school and everything. And then as I got older, I just like started like appreciating the game so much more. In my freshman year, when because I didn't play, I don't know if you ever knew this, I didn't play basketball in like middle school or anything. Like I wasn't like one of those kids that like played when they were really young, mostly because I was like a cheerleader and trying to be on a football team. I begging back then, which wasn't super easy. But like in middle school, I had my broken arm and everything, so I couldn't play. And then I get into high school and I started playing, and that was the year that Steph Curry was drafted. Could have sworn I was Steph Curry. I like literally was like studying him, and I was like, I too am going to lead the entire world in threes. And that's like all I shot.
All I'm gonna do.
Yeah, literally. Yes. And so I swore I was Steph Curry. And then I just, I grew to appreciate it a lot more in my adult years. And now I just love every bit of it. If you know me, I have like 50 teams that I am a fan of, and that I watch, and that I love, and that I follow. And it's very exhausting.
I watch everyone. I think
Yes.
Caitlin and I, that's something that we bonded over. And another thing that when you're a cheerleader, because I was a cheerleader for both sports, basketball and football, all of high school, when you are on the sidelines, it hits different, okay? You get very emotional.
Invested.
I was the cheerleader that was crying when we lost in the playoffs. I have always been that way. So if you ever watch a game with me and we lose, aka the Nuggets lose, you will see me cry. Caitlin's seen me cry several times now.
It's true.
It's true. It's a thing. It ruins my whole mood. I am the person that lets a team control their demeanor for the day. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
I just am like so happy.
Caitlin and I watch 90% of basketball games, I would say. When basketball season starts, first of all, I watched every single game that the Nuggets played last year multiple times because, again, I like to watch it when it's live, and then I like to watch the next day to like analyze it because I'm a freaking weirdo. And same thing, if there's any good games I miss, I record every single game. So if I'm missing one, if there's 2 good games on at a time, I will record and watch one later. Because again, we're crazy. We love the NBA, and we can't wait to talk about it.
Have you seen that League Pass is doing like a red zone type thing where they'll have 4 games at once?
On what? On what?
On, I think just like on League Pass. Like if you like pick a game on League Pass, like on your TV or whatever, and you have League Pass, I think you can literally go into multi-view.
Oh, I need to figure this out because I have League Pass through Amazon. So now I gotta figure it.
Yeah, and I think you can do it. People who have like League Pass through YouTube TV and Amazon, I think they're gonna do it through like everything. And like make it an option. But I was like, this is so huge for me because like and I mean like I'm like fully invested in 3 teams. I watch the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Wizards like religiously. Like those are my teams. I try not to miss games. I analyze them. I watch them. I love them. They're the teams that I'm like a fan of, quote unquote. But then I also watch literally every other game and every other team, especially if they're like, you know, important games or good teams, you know. And so I'm like being able to play 4 games at once. If all 3 of my teams play at the same time, which happens sometimes, I can watch them all at the same time. Like this has never happened. Yes. I'm always so stressed.
Oh, see, okay. So when the Nuggets are playing, I have to watch the Nuggets and only the Nuggets because it's too stressful. But
yeah,
that is super exciting for when the Nuggets aren't playing for me because I say I'm only a fan of the Nuggets. I really enjoy watching the Grizzlies because I love John Morant. So I'm really excited to watch that team this year. I'm really excited to watch.
I watched him play yesterday. I almost texted you and I was like, oh, I did text you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was like, John Morant is on the court.
I'm really excited. Like there's a lot of teams I'm excited to see from this year, especially the Spurs, like Wemby's sophomore season. The Magic have a like insane bag of guys. How will they work together? I'm interested to see how Thunder shakes up this year with some of the pieces they added. And now I'm praying on the downfall of the Timberwolves only because they beat us out of the playoffs after we blew a 20-point lead. But after they gave up Cat, which I guess can bring us into our first topic. Okay, so we're doing like an NBA season preview today. So we're just kind of going over the things. If you have noticed, we've had a lot of NFL stuff. It's because NFL season is back. You can go back if you're a new follower. We have a ton of NBA like fun preseason predictions, and like we predicted our standings. I'm gonna make a little graphic so Caitlin and I can keep up through it, like maybe like month to month or something. But
I love that.
We wanted to talk about some of the things today, like obviously the crazy Knicks-Wolves trade, some of the injuries, some of the things that people are saying, Bronny James, because you have to.
There's so much that's happened in the last
some of our opening night picks, perhaps, maybe the top games. I don't know. We're going to get into it, though. So I'm going to ask you the first question, Caitlin. Knicks-Wolves trade, who won? Who won the trade in your eyes?
I don't think I've even decided yet. I've been trying to because I've been watching
it's hard
the
to
games.
Tell. Yeah.
It is. Yes. It's preseason. I've been watching the games. I mean, for me, it is pretty crazy that, I mean, I know Julius Randle was injured at the end. And like for those of you who don't know, I'm sure everyone does know, essentially it was a 3-team trade with the Charlotte Hornets. And there were some like deep bench guys that got traded around, and same thing with some picks. But for the most part, the big fat part of that trade was that Cat got traded from the Timberwolves to the Knicks for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. And so...
And like a 2025 something pick.
Yes, like I said,
or
yeah.
26,
And then there were like
some weird pick.
yes, and there were some, like I said, like some deep bench players from like the Charlotte Hornets that got tossed around, and some picks from them as well. So it was a really weird trade. I was looking like at all the details last night, and I was like, no.
Did you see this coming at all? Because I did not. In a million years.
Oh my God, no. We were okay. If you have been with us for a while, you know that we love the Nova Knicks. We were so excited about the Nova
and
Knicks.
This was going to be my East Coast team. I had decided
yes.
that I was going to have an East Coast team to root for this year, and they were going to be my East Coast team. And now I don't like Cat that much. So I was
and you know
devastated.
What? Like for me, I like, and I don't really know, like I feel like it benefits both teams in different ways. Like this whole thing does. Obviously, like I was saying, is Julius Randle is injured or was injured at the end of last year, and he didn't really play much at the end of the season. But now you have Julius Randle, who is a really good power forward. And then you have DiVincenzo, who's a fantastic shooting guard. I feel like he's probably one of the more underrated players in the league. He's a
fantastic 3-point percentage.
I was just about to say
high volume.
He was one of the best 3-point shooters last year. And like Spencer said, he shoots a very high volume of them. So you've got a fantastic 3-point shooter in him. He's also one of those guys that just like plays really smart basketball. Like he understands the game. He flows on offense. He knows how to move off ball. Like he's a really good guy to have on your team. And like I said, a really good underrated guy that, not a lot of people think of. And then you have Julius Randle. I think that, I don't know. I've never really been like super high on Julius Randle. I know he's a Kentucky
guy
too. I
too.
know he's a good player.
I feel like he's been injured some. Yeah, he was. He was the year before me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, I agree. He gets injured like a lot.
It feels like every other season almost, or like he'll miss like half the season. I don't know. It seems like he's not the most durable guy. In my opinion, I think either both teams win or neither teams win in this scenario. At first,
I like that. Yes.
At first, I literally said that the Wolves got fleeced. That's literally what I said, because I was just so shocked. Like, in no world if you would have given me like some different scenarios that would have happened this upcoming season, I would have never picked that they would trade Cat after making it to the West Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And then I've looked into it. It seems like they've done this mainly for like a long-term financial decision, because he was going to be so expensive and they have to keep guys like Gilgeous-Alexander Walker and Naz Reid. So
Rudy Gobert.
It seems like he was going to be too expensive for them in the future, but I was like, you're not going to run it back like one more time to see? And then obviously the Knicks had to find someone to fill in for Isaiah Hartenstein. The way I see it, as this could potentially be a neither team winning, is the fact that Cat was really good at spacing the floor, and Anthony Edwards plays really well in space. So Cat is always going to draw, or not always, but Cat's going to get a double team. I don't think Julius Randle is drawing the double teams that Cat was.
Not at all.
So I think it's going to be, it's like things that, of course, we're talking, we're previewing the season. So we'll see it this week, how it looks like with, Anthony Edwards playing around a smaller amount of space. I also think the Denver Nuggets kind of win a little bit.
I agree.
Because they're no longer a horrific matchup for us.
One of the reasons that I think that like both teams kind of win this trade is because when you are the Timberwolves, which like, again, obviously they went to the conference finals last year, the Western Conference Finals, and they've been fantastic. But you do have two big guys. You've got Cat and you've got Rudy Gobert. And, I feel like with Cat going to the Knicks, like you said, he fills in that position for Isaiah Hartenstein, and he kind of becomes their true center now, which they really needed once they traded away Isaiah Hartenstein.
They needed a shooter behind the arc too.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say is like Cat is one of the most versatile players, I feel like, in the current NBA. He is a true big who is a great rim protector, but can also shoot threes. He's got a mid-range. Like, he plays defense. He's a fantastic rebounder. Like, he really is. Like, I was watching a couple of the games, of the Knicks games and everything, and Cat has been getting like 13, 17, and 20 rebounds. Like, he's been putting up insane rebound numbers. And so for the Knicks to have kind of like, just to have this guy that's going to be able to grab, rebounds on both sides of the floor, but also someone who you can throw around the arc and, give a catch and shoot three, or, someone like, the nice part about him too is that like he's not one of like the really slow centers. I love you, Nikola Jokic. You're my favorite slow center in the world. Okay. But like he's one of those guys that you can have be a perimeter defender too. He does have quicker feet. He's a little bit more of an athletic big. And so he's very versatile. And so I think that he benefits the Knicks a lot. But I do think that losing DiVincenzo will hurt the Knicks a little bit because Cat is not putting up that amount of threes that DiVincenzo was. He's not going to be.
DiVincenzo is an extremely high volume 3-point shooter.
Yes. And he, with a great 3-point percentage. He had the best 3-point percentage, I think, in the NBA for most of the season last year. And so I think that the Knicks do benefit a little bit, but like they're also losing a little bit. And I feel the same with the Timberwolves, because I feel like the Timberwolves, while they're gaining a fantastic 3-point shooter, you have a really good 3-and-D guy with Dante DiVincenzo, and then you have Julius Randle, which I haven't really seen play in a while, but he's a good forward. He's got a decent shot. He's good on defense, but like he's one of the slower guys. And then you have Rudy Gobert, who you keep under the basket as your true center and everything. But like,
I see Randle as a really good like facilitator.
Yes,
but again,
absolutely.
He's not drawing those double teams. And I think
absolutely not.
Speaking about, like, I was saying that the Timberwolves are no longer a great matchup for the Nuggets, or a bad matchup if you're a Nuggets fan. Yeah. Because if anyone watched the playoffs, Nikola Jokic actually embarrassed the ever-living daylights out of Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert cannot guard Nikola Jokic. Cat was their best option against Nikola Jokic. So I think it'll be interesting to see this year. It almost feels like the team swapped issues. Because,
I agree, yes.
Neither of them wanted to play like an existing star who's struggled with like whether it be injuries or like playoff confidence in the past. They like kind of just were like, oh, let's see if this works. I don't know. So
we'll try this instead. Yeah,
I'm interested.
I feel like they both gained a little bit, and then I feel like they both lost a little bit too. So
my God, I forgot I had another point. I was also curious because, sorry, you're losing the Nova, one of the Nova boys. So obviously you have team chemistry with some of your team, but you just like Cat was pissed. He literally tweeted ... when he got traded. I mean,
did you hear what happened? I think he was saying that like Jaden McDaniels or something like drove to his house to tell him right before he found out.
I think it was like 5 minutes before. Yeah.
So, he literally showed up at his house to tell him that it happened.
So I like kind of wonder, in my like opinion, if that could, I don't know, the Celtics, obviously, because with Knicks, that's who you're competing with right now. The Knicks are competing for the Celtics spot. You're chasing after the Celtics. The Celtics guys have been together. They just won a championship together.
They re-signed the entire
Olympics.
Team.
Yeah, they're the same pretty much. So I'm wondering how that chemistry is going to go. Like, again, no one knows yet. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, Kat was actually just on Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's podcast.
What? I have to watch that.
Yeah, he was just on there, and he was talking about how he was like butthurt and everything like that, because he said that like right before he signed his extension.
So.
Yes, he said that right before he signed his extension in 2022, he was talking about how he was going to retire a Wolf and wanted to be a Wolf forever and bring a championship to the city and blah blah blah. And so he said that like not only like finding out from like your teammate driving to your house and just being like, you're about to get traded, by the way, like
BTW, dude.
Yeah. And so like on the podcast,
Ouch.
he was like, I was planning on being a Wolf forever. And he said, my employer didn't think the same, apparently. And I was like, that's so sad. But like he seems
really
to like,
sad.
I know, he seems to be like getting along really well with Josh Hart and with Jalen Brunson, at least like on the podcast. They seem to have like this good rapport already. And, you know, he's like, but like, I'm really excited to be playing with this really great team. I hope that I can bring a championship to this city and, you know, at least like, you know, do something good for, you know, for the Knicks and, you know, be an asset. So I don't know. I know that he's really sad, but I'm kind of hoping like no offense to the Timberwolves, but I'm kind of hoping that Cat kind of like uses this as fuel.
Yeah.
And like becomes like a huge part of like the Knicks team and like makes them even better than before.
Oh, I hope
like,
they beat the Celtics. We'll go ahead and answer that because I don't. There's too many games for us to go through. I just wanted to talk about like who out of the really big matchups we think might win. So opening night, who do you have, Celtics or Knicks? I sat and thought about this.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna say Celtics.
Yeah. It's like you can't really count against them. It's like the Nuggets. Like no one really. Yeah, they were like you can't count against them until they lose.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like I have to go Celtics for this first game because this is going to obviously be the first real game that all of the Knicks are playing together. But I think
they're raising the banner
But I mean, the Knicks and like Celtics used to be like a rivalry. The Knicks just weren't relevant in the past few years.
Yeah, now it's going to be big. This year's going to be crazy for them.
Huge, especially both. Like you have Madison Square Garden and then the Boston Garden. I don't know. So I think I'm going to go with Celtics. You're welcome, Ryan. I'll stick with your Celtics for now. You know, I love Drew Holiday and Derek White.
I love them.
It'll be so interesting to see.
Can we chat about your question real quick on Twitter, X or whatever? Just because I loved this question. You were asking about if we think that the Celtics will have a little bit of like a championship and Olympic hangover. And you know what? I thought about this for a while too. You and I are so funny because like I swear we just like sit and think about sports when we're doing nothing. We're just like,
we do.
What do I think about? Like, what do I think about this super random
do this season? Even though I'm not a fan of them.
Yes, you and I just like put shit in our head and we just start thinking about sports on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. for no reason. But I was thinking about it, and you know what? I don't think that the Celtics are going to have a championship hangover, and I just like
tell me why.
You know what? Like it's just like a feeling. Like I feel like with this team and with all of them coming back. Like literally the exact same team. I just feel like they all still seem like so refreshed. All of them are just like winning these awards and, you know, like they're all like, they just like, they don't seem tired. They don't seem like they're like, we just won a championship. Like for like the Warriors.
Do you think they might get tired at the end though?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. You think they're going to start off strong and then potentially like run out of gas like the Nuggets did towards the end of season? Okay.
Exactly. Yes. Because
I agree with that actually.
Yeah, because like I see this team, the Celtics, and like I said, like the 2022 Warriors. It was one of the craziest championship runs ever. You go from being the worst team in the league to literally winning a championship the next year. So, or within a year and a half. And so that was like a run that no one expected. And they were like so cocky, so hot on that championship for like months and months after. And then they just like, oh, well, didn't care, didn't work hard during the offseason. We just won the championship. Like, but the Celtics, on the other hand, like I feel like they've like all been putting in the work. Like, I feel like they like won the championship and then like no one talked about it again after because they all just went back to work. You know, you had a couple of guys in the guys in the Olympics. Yeah. And then after that, like I feel like they've all just been like working hard and they're like, you saw their freaking Abu Dhabi. We're here to work. Like when the Nuggets were like having fun. But like, so I think that they're all
a
still
business
like
trip.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, so I think that's like the only reason I think they're going to start off really hot is because I feel like they're all still like in that mindset, in that really locked in mindset. But I think they'll relax a little like after Christmas and start to slow down.
I also think that, do you think, or I have a question because I think it could happen this year. Obviously, Jaylen Brown, finals MVP. I think that stung Jayson Tatum. I think Jayson Tatum's going to be working harder. And then also Jaylen Brown, though, then he got snubbed basically for the Olympics and said it might have had something to do with Nike. Who knows? Do you think that Jaylen Brown overpasses Jayson Tatum for the face of the franchise this year or the next couple of years?
I don't think that the media or fans will allow that to happen. I I hate saying this because I know it like makes people bitter. I've almost like always seen Jaylen Brown as like an equal to Jayson Tatum. I've never seen Jayson Tatum at the top of the franchise by himself like a lot of people do. I've always kind of seen them as like the faces of the franchise. So I feel like that'll kind of remain, at least in my head, but I don't think that the media is ever going to let that be.
I've always seen Jayson Tatum like as the face of the franchise just because he's been there for so long.
Yeah.
And like, so like when you think, like if someone were to say one player associated with the Celtics, like now I would say Jayson Tatum, but like ability, like that's just like the face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about ability, I do think they're pretty equal. And I think Jaylen Brown outplays him sometimes in the clutch and in those big time scenarios.
Yep. I agree. I know, like I said, like I feel like it's so hard to say because I think that my biggest thing is that I don't think that like the media or the Celtics at all will ever let Jaylen Brown kind of become that.
I don't know. The media,
think they're like so high on Jayson Tatum.
I think the fans are, but I mean, when I listen to a lot of like shows and podcasts because that's all I think about is sports, and it does seem like a lot of people like say, I don't know if like. I think it's starting 5 or so. I was listening to something and someone was like, I don't know if he's him. They literally said that. I don't know if he's him. But of course, if you know me and I've talked about this on an NFL episode, the second you give me like a life story about someone, I become invested.
I'm in. Yep.
And I used to think, well, I still think Jayson Tatum is corny. But after watching him on starting 5 with his kid, I'm like, oh, he's so sweet.
He's just like a normal guy.
I've always liked Jimmy Butler. He's one of like my favorite players to watch. Always has been. I love playoff Jimmy. And I think I love like corny, like hilarious dudes that like don't take themselves seriously. If you haven't watched Starting 5, you have to watch it. He is such a good dad and he's so funny and so personable. And I didn't realize he dealt with I'm sure I did, but I just forgot that I guess his dad passed away during season. And he was on a flight and he asked the doctor, because I think his brother was getting married. I didn't know if he meant like actual brother, like a friend.
Yeah.
But someone was getting married and he was like, doctor, please tell me like my dad's going to be alive when I get back. Like I just have to go for like 2 days. And 20 minutes before his flight landed, his dad had passed.
Stop.
So I really hope Jimmy Butler has the best year ever. He was like, we're all human. And they showed a clip of him, getting into like a fight or something, either in the playoffs or earlier. It was before, his knee stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm hurting. I am a person. Like my dad has passed. Like you all don't see that. You just see me playing basketball. And so again, if you're new to us, Caitlin and I talk about this so much. We always try and see the human behind the athlete. I think sometimes it's hard to, if like when a guy like Rudy Gobert, it's kind of hard when they're kind of an asshole, but I just feel really bad for Jimmy Butler. So I hope he has a really good season and I hope that his mental health is better this season.
Yes. And that's like you said, like we're always, we do try to humanize these players. And like, because I do feel like that's important. Yes, because most people don't. Like they are humans. Like a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's like what made me really mad about like Andrew Wiggins and stuff like that. Andrew Wiggins has been dealing with his dad being ill.
Oh, yeah, I think I knew that.
For like 2 seasons. And so 2 seasons ago, he took like a kind of leave of absence towards the end of the season. And last year he did the same thing. He took some time off to go be with his family. And like no one on the Warriors was even worried about it. They're like, you need to go do what you need to do. Like, family first, always.
That's exactly what Jimmy Butler said. He said, basketball isn't everything. Your family is.
Period. And that's exactly how like the Warriors organization saw it. But like fans and other team fans and things like that.
What, like called him soft?
Not even that, but they were just like, he's not serious. Like, of course he's out again. And I'm like, and then this summer his dad died. Andrew Wiggins' dad finally passed away. Right. And like the first thing people said was like, well, at least he won't be taking any more time off. And I'm like, guys, like he is a human being.
What if your dad died?
Yes,
like,
Jesus.
what?
You would take some time off work, wouldn't you? Like,
literally, these guys play 82 games a season. They don't even get to like hang out with their family. Like they are traveling. Oh,
yeah. And so, and he's got like either a girlfriend or a wife. I don't know if they're married. And then like his daughters, and he's got siblings and everything like that as well that are all, I guess they're all very close. And so it's just like, no one, like, is it frustrating as a fan to have one of your best players out when you're watching the game? Sure. Dang, we could really use Andrew Wiggins' defense right now, or we could really use this. But like, it is not that serious. It is basketball.
Take a step back. Take a step back.
These are real ass people, and like that's a job for them. Basketball is a job for them. If one of my parents died, you bet your ass I would be taking time off of work. You bet your ass. If one of my parents was like, yes, if God, Lord help us all, if one of my parents, got ill, it's okay to take time off of work. And it's okay to go take care of them.
I will start crying my eyes out.
Because I'm literally dealing with it right now.
I know, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. But I just it's not, but in the grand scheme of things, it is. It's just, I just think that people...
Everyone deserves to have time.
Yes, especially like with your family. Family's everything. Yeah. Work is not everything. In the same way that none of us want to work to have to live, neither do they. They have a life outside of basketball, and that's important.
Okay, we'll go. Okay, because Caitlin and I, of course, want to talk about like our favorite teams. So I definitely want to talk about Nuggets, but we were talking about Andrew Wiggins. So I think, because I have some things to say about the Warriors, I think we should talk about the Warriors.
I would love to. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited to hear like your general thoughts.
Okay, so obviously Warriors went 5-0. I think that, I don't know why anyone cared that Klay Thompson left. Well, I just mean stat wise, if that makes sense. Not the franchise wise. Of course, he's a big part of, that dynasty. But I think the Warriors are actually so deep that they have a problem because I think they have so many guys that can start. So they went 5-0 in the preseason. If you haven't been paying attention to preseason, I know some people don't even care about basketball really until the second half, until after All-Star weekend. But I think the Warriors are actually so deep that they might have locker room issues because... yes, Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga could both start. I don't think they necessarily play great together, but they both are amazing players.
The spacing with both of them on the floor is disgusting. Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's like whenever I would see Jamal Murray and Reggie Jackson on the floor last year, I was like, someone get bleach for my eyes because I never want to watch this again. So I was curious, as you obviously pay way more attention to them than I do. Of course, Steph had an amazing Olympic run. It was beautiful to watch him. I've always loved Steph Curry, but what do you think about all these guys that you have? It's a deep bag.
It sure is. I think it gives us a benefit, and it's also in its own right a detriment, if that makes sense.
It messes up with continuity.
It does, because you can't, and this is what people get really mad. I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. People get really mad at Steve Kerr every year because he messes with the lineups. And it's for the same reason. You just you feel like there are guys on your super deep bench that might play better in this situation, but then you're messing with these lineups and you're messing with guys who play together all the time, and then you're throwing in random guys in this lineup that probably don't fit or that haven't played with this lineup, and it kind of screws with that. But when you have someone like Moses Moody, who's been putting up incredible numbers all preseason. Yes. And he's just been he's been so good. And he all been saying this. He deserves a chance. He does. And it's just so hard because as a Warriors fan, since he got drafted with Moses Moody, and with Jonathan Kuminga. And we've all been saying Kuminga, they've had it's been really funny. They've kind of switched off in their first couple of years. First we'd see Moody get, a several game stretch of getting to play, and Kuminga would have DNPs. And then you'd have Kuminga have this big stretch of games that he'd play, and then Moody would have DNPs. So they kind of just went back and forth. They didn't know who was better. They never play both of them. But I'm these guys are two guys that are good and helpful in their own right. Kuminga, you have an incredible athlete, someone who is quick, someone who is crazy. He can dunk on anyone. He's got a great shot. He's a good defender, but he's very like erratic and makes a lot of mistakes because he's like almost too athletic, like hyper athletic. It's very easy for him to make mistakes. Everything he does is fast. It's almost like Russell Westbrook, like just the speed going all the time. Like it's easy for you to make mistakes. Whereas Moody is more of like a refined shooting guard. You have someone who like, he keeps the pace of the game. He can slow the game down when it needs to be slowed down. He's got a great shot. He is a good defender, but he's a little bit slower.
For those of you who don't know, and I'll let you continue in a second, I just wanted to shout out Moses Moody's triples. So he is knocking down 43.3% of his triples with an average of 6 3-point attempts per game during preseason. So
yes,
that is why everyone wants him to have a chance.
Yes, and it's so hard because like I said, as a Warriors fan last year, he played so little. And it's just so unfair because he can be such, and like, I'm sorry, the Warriors were the 10 seed last year and didn't even make it out of the play-in. And so when you have a guy like Moses Moody who probably can benefit your team quite a bit, you should be playing him. And so I worry that we're going to see the same thing again. Steve Kerr says that he's a rotational player, and I hope he means that. But like you said, we have such a deep team. Yeah. And this is kind of what I was saying if you watched like our preseason, like what the rankings and stuff like that. I was talking about how I really do think, because everyone is making fun of the Warriors, like, oh, DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, Buddy Hield. Guess what? Those 3 players have been like incredible this preseason on this team, and they've all played really well together.
The offense is offensing. It's not offensive, but it is offensing.
It is offensing hard. And like Steve Kerr kind of said that like we're kind of going back to like the excessive 3-point shooting, which is funny because last year we were talking about how like teams were finally like moving towards having a true big, and then like almost like 4-1
all big. Yeah, you almost wanted to go away from the small ball. I wanted to say that because I was like, I bet if you have Moses Moody coming in and filling the threes that Clay was used to taking and actually making, they're scary.
Plus Buddy Hield. You forget that Buddy Hield was the second best 3-point shooter behind Steph Curry for 5 years.
Loved him on the Pacers, but I think the Warriors are a little, I don't remember what I ranked them, but I am higher.
You ranked them low, baby.
My stock on them is much higher.
Yeah.
Going into the season now.
I was talking to Jayson about it and I was like, I so badly want this preseason, because I feel like with like the Nuggets, I feel like their preseason is kind of fluky. I don't think that that's who the Nuggets are. I don't think that the Nuggets are this crappy team that are going to lose every game. You know what I'm saying? But like that's just how preseason is for a lot of teams. And so I'm like, I'm begging the Warriors, like, please don't let this preseason be a fluke. Like, I want this to be how they play all season, because they can be so good. And I think they're going back to like that 3-point shooting, because that's what the Celtics did. That's like how the Celtics got to the championship, was putting up these monstrous numbers of threes.
Except against the Nuggets.
Period. Exactly.
We only attempted like 12 threes when we beat them, and we only made like 7 of them.
That's because we have Nikola Jokic.
Sorry.
Whoops.
Sorry, Celtics.
Whoopsies.
I'm never going to stop saying it, and I know this is a really annoying Nugget thing to say, but if we had made it, if we would have beat the Celtics in the championship, I'm so sorry, but it's true.
Matchup-wise, probably. I think that we talked about this a lot.
We beat them both times.
Yes, exactly. We talk about this a lot.
We played them.
With like just this past year's playoffs.
Everything is about matchups.
Yeah,
and
matchups
I love
made a lot of decisions for
I feel like
people.
Casual fans, and I know everyone hates being called casuals, but a lot of you are, and that's also a reason why I hate when men try and talk to me and they'll like say something about basketball, and then I find out that they like probably have only watched like a handful of games, until the playoffs. I watch every game, and that's not me being like, I don't know if that means like conceited or arrogant, but I'm just saying,
being honest. You do watch every game.
I am consuming a lot of basketball. I am seeing these teams play every other day. So
mass amounts of it all the time.
It's all about matchups. Again, the Timberwolves were a terrible matchup for us with the bigs and we were tired. We had a terrible bench. There were a couple things that went into it, but it's always going to be about matchups every time. That's why I fully believe that we would have went to the championship again, even if we hadn't won, even if we maybe did run out of steam against the Celtics. I fully believe that we would have gotten much farther if if we hadn't played so hard in the regular season, like they were tired.
You want to know something funny is I was just about to say this, and we can even move on to the Nuggets after this because we were just talking about finishing the Warriors and everything. But what I was going to say is I would love to see the Nuggets and the Warriors end up somewhere together, like not together, but like end up in the rankings between like seeds 3 and 6, where like you're not having to push yourself so hard to hold that one seed or that 2 seed. But like you're also not like slacking so much where you're trying to climb back in the rankings. But like you can just kind of like play your best brand of basketball, play as hard as you can during the regular season, as hard as you normally would, and like sit right there where like you're out of the play-in, but like you also have, decent matchups in the playoffs. I was like sitting in like that 3 to 6 seed. I feel like would be good for both of them.
Spencer is going to say that if the Nuggets had not lost that game to the Spurs, which fuck you guys weren't even going to be in the playoffs. So you literally just ruined our day.
The bad
for
teams,
what?
Yeah, the bad teams are just there to ruin the rankings.
Just to be an ass. No, literally just to be an asshole. Like, how dare you? Anyway, if we had kept our 1 seed, which we were still the 1 seed. We were just tied with OKC, and because we had lost like the matchup between that, we ended up being the 2 seed. I fully believe we would have at least made it to the finals, but who knows? Anyway, on to the Denver Nuggets.
The paths make sense.
On to the Denver Nuggets.
I'm gonna cover the Warriors word because I'm wearing the right colors.
Because as long as we have this guy,
Nikola Jokic,
I'm never counting us out, and I'm so sick of everyone being mean. Okay, listen here.
You can't.
My theories from earlier, if you watch some of our earlier episodes, I was that crazy person with like the pictures on the wall and the string. Okay.
They're falling together.
They're falling into place, baby. Knock on this fake wood table because
me too.
Because Julian Strawther is balling.
He's been so good.
Julian Strawther,
so fun to watch.
In the preseason, leads the NBA in total points, the NBA in 3-point percentage, 50% through the preseason. And Russell Westbrook is doing Russell Westbrook things, which is a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. But I think that this is the best bench that we have had in a while. I'm not saying the Nuggets are a deep team because we're not. Our depth at shooting guard is really low. Our depth behind Jokic even worse. But we have so many pieces that I think when you get into the playoffs. So I was like, as long as we can make it there, because that's when Jokic plays those 45 minutes. So I don't think we're going to be the 1 seed. I think we're going to be up there, and I do think we can dominate in the playoffs. He literally, in the last game, we were 1-4 again. Nikola Jokic was jogging. He was doing his thing where he's like, I'm just going to pass the whole game. Because listen, if it's one thing Nikola Jokic loves to do, it's to not score. Like if he did not have to shoot a basket the whole game, he would get 20 assists. He would have the time of his life. He would, and here's the thing: the team would still win because he's such a fantastic facilitator. He's the most incredible offensive facilitator that I have ever seen. Like I talk about this all the time when I see him, like when he is under the basket, like on offense and stuff like that. And I just like he knows where every single person is, and he like I swear to God, he knows what they're all going to do. He can make he knows when his guy's gonna cut. And he'll make that pass. He knows, like he just knows where everyone is at all times, and he makes it happen based off of that. It's like the coolest thing to watch if you literally just sit there and watch them. If you are tuning into us and you're not a Nuggets fan and you're not, you watch whoever, you must watch Nikola Jokic play basketball.
Just sit and watch him for a few games. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful the way he does things. And I know people say like, oh, he's slow. He doesn't jump. The IQ of that man is absurd. And
that's what I'm saying. It's disgusting. It's crazy.
Okay, so I was on a show last week. I was on Serbian Corner with DNVR, and we were playing a game. We were guessing Nuggets players from their best season, how many games at 20 plus points they had in a season. And, there's and that's plus postseason. So, there's 82 games in a season. And Nikola Jokic's best season was last season. And he had, and mind you, we're talking about Paul Millsap. We're talking about all the OGs from the Nuggets era. The majority of them, 30 to 35, 20 plus point games in a season. Nikola Jokic had 70 plus. I forgot what the exact number was. He had over 70 last season, 20 plus point games. And Jamal Murray was damn up there too. I think Jamal Murray was 60 or 50.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, was it MPJ that was 47 even? Which I feel like even half the games being 20 plus point games is still amazing.
Because he's either the third or fourth option on any given night.
Exactly. So that's incredible.
Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are two of our best offensive players. I know everyone's been hating on Jamal Murray. He looks so much better. He looks so much healthier. He had that little knee tweak. But when you've been watching him play, he looks so much better than when you saw. If you look at tape from the playoffs, you see him hopping on one leg a couple times. You can tell he's just fighting through it.
That's unhealthy.
And he looks so much more I hate this, spry, lively. He's quick. He is looking. He's even bringing up the ball, in my opinion, quicker in transition. Of course, this is through preseason. It was so great. Everyone was calling him washed. And then our last game that we won, he literally came out for 30 points. And so, listen, the number one thing, if you're not a Nuggets fan, do not talk shit to Jamal Murray, because I promise you will regret it.
He's going to use it
single time. This man loves it. There are some players that probably let it get to them. No, Jamal Murray is literally going to be
Klay Thompson.
Bet. Yeah. Bet. So
yeah. And you know what? I just want to say, because I'm fully going to admit, you'll see older episodes. I was one of the concerned. I was never.
Oh, yes. We weren't saying he was washed.
No.
It's the injury concerns, I think, that both of us were focused on.
Yes, exactly. And so, I also, literally the Nuggets and Warriors are my top two teams, and then Wizards third. But when watching these two teams, I have a guy like Klay Thompson and a guy like Jamal Murray, who at the same time went through the same injury, and they actually bonded over that, or similar injuries.
Klay
and they bonded over that.
Yeah.
And they even they spent a lot of time together, just in gyms, rehabbing and things like that. And they became really good friends. They obviously went through very similar situations, both out almost 2 years from these huge injuries after some of their best seasons. And you have them come back. And I always say, because we're going to talk about this too with Lonzo Ball probably next. But when you come back from an injury like that, and you're kind of still getting injured sometimes, Jamal Murray has had small injuries after that where he's been out for short periods of time. And again, same thing with Klay Thompson. It's hard not to be concerned about that, especially when you're someone like Jamal who wants to play through it and who did play through it. Not only does it affect your play, but it also affects your ability to be healthy in the future as well. It affects your longevity. And so I've been concerned about his injury, and hearing the whole his knee feels funny. I was God help us all. God help us all. But
glass bones and paper skin.
Literally. But then I think I even tweeted about it. I was just saying when Jamal Murray had that really big game, I was it's the Nuggets themselves played so much better. When Jamal Murray is Jamal Murray, everything
clicks into place.
Everything falls into place. Absolutely. And so he's just he really is so important to the Nuggets team. And so I really hope that he stays healthy, because literally seeing him play that last game, I was that's the Jamal Murray we all know and love. I was so happy to see him play like that.
And you saw glimpses of it in the playoffs.
Yes.
It just sucked that he was
injured.
It was
very inconsistent.
But he was making those big shots that you're only Jamal Murray does that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's almost good that Canada didn't go too far in the Olympics, because I'm okay, get a little more time to rest.
Get a little rest.
Rest. I want to talk about a little bit about the Nuggets starting unit and now their bench unit, and then we'll move into the injuries around the league, because there's several. And Lonzo Ball coming back from an injury. Yes. But okay. So as of right now, of course, we have Aaron Gordon, MPJ, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray, who we've already talked about them, and then CB. So I think Aaron Gordon is going to be playing a lot of center type role which he did occasionally last year.
Agree.
And I think he does great. I mean, he's not a true center, of course, but I think
but he is great under the basket. He's a great rim protector.
Great. He's a great rim protector, and he looks up to Jokic so much, and they're so close that I think he just learns from him, and he says stuff like that.
He's like some of his play.
Yeah, he's like, if I'm going to be center, I'm just going to do what the big guy does, the big fella. And so I'm really excited about that. I've always thought, because Michael Porter Jr. has put on 10 pounds in the offseason, and he always, in expectation.
He's always been the skinny mini on the team.
He's expected to play more of the 4 this year, more power forward. I always said last year when AG had to play some of the 5 and MPJ had to play some of the 4, it was great. They had MPJ and AG have their own little connection. I believe AG's most assists are to Michael. So I
love that.
I think our 4 guys, our 4 core that helped us win the championship are set. CB has been a little bit of a question mark this preseason.
Do you think that because of how well Julian Strawther has played that they would switch him out?
I do eventually. I think right now they're going to stick with CB just because CB's gotten the most play in the regular season. But I do think that it's potential and I do see them switching one closing and the other starting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I could see if we need that late offense coming in,
Absolutely.
I can see Strawther. I think that straw burst. But I feel like they're trying to make CB what KCP was, which was a 3-and-D. KCP's numbers weren't as good as they were through the season in the playoffs, but he was a threat at 3. He would knock down, sometimes he was knocking 3 to 4 threes down a game. And he was also one of our best defensive players, our best perimeter defender. CB was, I think, way better than KCP against Anthony Edwards. I think he was the guy that gave him the most run for his money. I just don't know if he's going to be that 3-and-D guy. I think he might have to find, we know he can dunk. We know he can do things, but his offense has not been offensing. It's been offensive. And so I do kind of worry because, so Strawther in the last game, of course, it was kind of the Jamal Murray game because it was just what we all needed to see. But Strawther put up 33 points on 8 of 13 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3, and 12 of 13 from the free throw line.
Disgusting.
12 points from the free throw line. And I know what everyone knows I hate if your whole game is from the free throw line, if you're a Trae Young or a Joel Embiid. He was actually getting fouled because they could not stop him. Well,
and that's what I was going to say is the big thing with that too is with him when he was getting fouled, it was strictly because he was driving and taking contact. He was willing to make those plays. Whereas I feel like
he wasn't going up and going, oop, foul.
Oops, yeah.
Foul.
No, he was playing through a shit ton of contact. And that's the stuff that I like to see.
And they weren't trying to stop him.
Yes. I always say this, and I said this in one of our last NBA videos. You're an NBA player. You know how to take contact. You know how to play through contact. And I love when guys do that. And actually get fouled because I'm
and they're not preparing for the contact and freaking out and jumping back.
Exactly. Yes, I'm because that's you being yes, there's 2 defenders under the basket. I don't care. I'm going to go up regardless. If they foul me, they foul me. If they don't, I just got 2 points. It's someone that's willing to just play the game right and not because I feel with the Joel Embiids, you'll have them you don't even look like you're going up for a shot. You're throwing up your arm before you even release the ball.
Yes.
And you're trying to get hurt or not even to get hurt, but to get fouled.
It's it's just laziness.
It is. Go up with the ball. If you get fouled, get fouled. You don't need to be oops, and then get hit and then throw the ball in the air.
Teacher, they touched me.
Help.
Me. Did you see that, ref?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this bench now. Again, I think the bench actually has some continuity. And, you know, Westbrook has been a little bit of a bull in a china shop. Like he needs to rein it in a little bit.
Which we know he's been like that.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook is going to be Russell Westbrook. Okay, he had 5 turnovers, but they happened in the first few minutes, basically most of them.
He starts real fast.
And then he settled down. And him and Dario Saric actually had a good little 2-man game going in that last preseason game. And then Strother was just being like a demon all over the floor. And we didn't even have Peyton Watson out there. And then Vlatko looked really shaky. Vlatko was also out for like 2 seasons.
Almost I was going to say almost the
season
entire last season. Yeah.
All of the entire last season.
It was all last season, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he actually stepped in and he was looking unplayable, especially in Abu Dhabi. And then he actually came back with some good passing, shooting, smart basketball, getting back into that rhythm of playing, which is what preseason's for, getting those reps again, playing against those top players. And so I'm really high up. I'm really high up on the Nuggets, okay? I am even feeling better than I was, and that's saying a lot. So,
well, me too, yeah, because I definitely like I was just saying, like with Jamal Murray and like just with some other like losing guys, you know, they lost a few like good people on their team, and I just feel like I was a little bit concerned, but watching them in preseason, I just feel like the young guys really are making those strides. CB obviously needs to be better offensively. Other than that, he's he's a really explosive guy. He's great on defense. He's so athletic. We know who he can be. Russell Westbrook, like you said, like just needs to kind of settle it down a little bit. But other than that, he's Russell Westbrook. Great defender. He's a great facilitator as well. Yep, exactly. He's a great facilitator as well. He'll be a great person to facilitate the bench unit and to just like be able to give like that ball IQ.
Just feed Julian Strother.
Yep.
Listen.
And let's get some lobs to Peyton Swatson.
Oh my gosh. And CB, because I'm sure they'll play some together. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, Russell Westbrook in transition, the layup, it's definitely never going in. If you clearly have never watched a Nuggets game, because KCP was the most tragic transition layupper in the history of like the NBA. Like that.
Did I ever tell you that I never made a layup in a game when I played basketball? Because of that, I'm the exact same way. I am Russell Westbrook. Okay,
are you sure you want to tell the class that?
Yeah, they need to know, because listen, your girl was making. I think I averaged 3 3-pointers per game when I was playing. Okay, but like I know, so I'm a very big catch and shoot girly. Don't make me do anything else, please. I'm a great defender too.
Yes, but Caitlin never. We've said this before. Caitlin never swing the rock. Rios.
Never swing the rock, never dribble the ball.
Caitlin, the possession ends here. Rios.
Yep. And I will get us points. Rios. Period. But the thing is like that while I was great around the perimeter, I was a really good perimeter defender as well. I ran track and everything like that as a sprinter. I'm a very quick person. I'm a very fast person, and I've got quick hands. And so I literally had several steals per game too. But like, I couldn't do anything with it because I would steal the ball and I would sprint full speed and then I would absolutely ruin a layup. Did not make a single layup. And so eventually, second half of like the seasons and stuff like that, we always were just like the second Caitlin steals the ball, just have someone sprint on the outside.
So they're ready for the rebound.
Yep. And so I would literally make an outlet pass. Like I would steal the ball and then there would already be someone waiting for me. And so I'd make the outlet pass and then they'd make the shot. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more team that I want to talk about with you before we kind of like go into some of the injuries and stuff.
Yes, I'm ready.
Because everyone is apparently thinking that the Phoenix Suns are some huge, they're doing what they do every year, Caitlin. When are we going to stop pretending that the Phoenix Suns are always contenders every single year? Everyone is apparently claiming that this is like the Phoenix Suns year to like, you know, be like in the top 2 or top 3.
Is it?
Did we forget about defense? Because I was watching Kevin Garnett's show and he's like, the Phoenix Suns are my sleeper team or something. Did you played Kevin Garnett for a very long time?
They're still sleeping, sweetness.
Good golly gee. Like the Phoenix defense is still such an issue. Yes, they have a shit ton of offensive pieces. I have to pull up the stats from last night. I think they went Hold, please. Yes. Okay. So they lost in OT to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
They gave
I was just looking at that game.
They gave 35 points up to Dalton Connect, a rookie, 35 points up to Anthony Davis, 18 points up to Austin Reeves. Caitlin and I never said that they weren't going to score. But
they're
I think
a great offensive team.
Of course. They have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Nurkic. You know, Kevin Durant got 19, Booker got 22, Nurkic with 15, Bradley Beal with 13. Okay, but you weren't stopping anybody. You let
I'm so mad we let go of Colin Gillespie, by the way. Yeah.
How dare we give them to the fucking Phoenix Suns and we kept Jaylen Pickett? Be so for real.
I know.
Be so fucking for real.
I know.
What were we thinking? Steady Gillespie is my sleeper pick. I love him. If he goes off for the Suns and becomes like a person for the Suns, I'm going to literally cry myself to sleep at night.
No, literally same. Yeah, I don't know why people pretend like the Suns are like going to be incredible. They do it every year. And every year. Oh my God, my poor Bruce. So sorry everyone had to see that. Jesus. That was disgusting. But I just like you said, they do it every year. They come out and they always like start strong-ish. I swear to God, it's like their first 10 games. Everyone's like, this is a championship team. And then we just see
and
who
then
they
KD's
are.
out for 2 months. And then Bradley Beal's out for 2 months.
And then Devin Booker's out for 2 months. And then the rest of their team falls apart.
Like I said, that super big three is always super big injured.
Super.
But they're screwed. Yeah. Like because they paid out the ass for them, like they have to rock with their guys. Like, so I guess mad respect. You don't have anything. Well, maybe not. You just don't have any other options.
Well, Bradley Beal also has his no trade clause still. So
yeah. So I just think I really wish, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, that we stop pretending that the Suns are going to win the championship every year. They are not going to win the championship. The West is too stacked, too deep. They are always too injured. And now they have no defense. None.
Yeah, their defenses.
I'm sure their games are going to be like the
lacking.
Pacers, where they're going to be hella high scoring, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, 1,000%. I feel like and that's exactly how that game looked. I think that game was like 133 to 128
in
or
a preseason.
Yeah, which is insane. And you know what? Like I really do. You and I talked about it with the Olympics. I really appreciate Devin Booker's game now a lot more. So I hope he's healthy and has a good season and everything. But like, you know, you have Katie, who's always injured. You have glass bones, paper skin with him too. That's what happens when you're the Slim Reaper. You know, you have Bradley Beal, who is always injured. You've got all these, and then you just don't really have anyone else. Like you've got Monte Morris now and all this stuff, but like I don't think that they have enough pieces to. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think they have enough pieces to be there when your big guys are out, you know?
Yeah. Okay, speaking of another team in the West that is supposed to be and actually will be good, I guess, whatever. Oklahoma City Thunder. So I don't know if you saw this, Caitlin, but Isaiah Hartenstein is sidelined for 5 to 6 weeks.
Broken hand, man.
So he will likely miss all of November, and I think this factor leaves the Thunder with a much smaller lineup, and they're going to lose some of that interior defense, some of their rebounding depth, and then Jalen Williams is recovering from a hamstring injury, and then the other Jalen Williams had an ankle sprain. So do you think that affects the start to their season?
Hartenstein.
They're all young. I feel like their whole team. I mean, I think they are like the youngest team in the league. So I don't know.
Young and healthy.
Because Hartenstein is new.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't see the whole Hartenstein thing being like too awful. Yeah, just because you do have like Chet Holmgren as well down there. And I feel like he's someone that like he started off so well. He had a fantastic rookie season after his injury. He redshirted. But I feel like he's someone that's going to come in and kind of be able to still fill that role. And you've got so many other pieces. It really is such a deep team. Jalen Williams with his hamstring injury, I just feel like he's someone that's always a healthy guy, like for the most part. If he gets injured, he's someone that can like heal quickly and be totally fine. Like he's like a strong, healthy guy. So I feel like he'll come back. Missing him will be kind of a little bit of an offensive issue for them and defense. He's a very versatile player. He does a little bit of everything for them. So I feel like maybe that'll affect him a little bit. But if it's just at the beginning of the season that you're losing these guys, I think that they're going to be fine the rest of the season. I just like, I really do believe that this team is going to be really good.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to, as much as I don't want to believe it.
The Caruso trade was big.
Mm-hmm.
But
it gives them so much more defense too.
I think they're able to be so big because they signed all these guys before they were good, so they're on really low contracts. So while they are good, they better take advantage of it because you're not going to be able to keep them. Okay?
No, literally,
you're not going to be able to afford all these guys.
I know, well, and that's what's crazy too is that they still have like 5 years of like first round picks. They've got so many. Like, they've got so much draft compensation just, like, sitting there. Yeah. So, like, not only do they have these, this incredible young team, but they have literally several years worth of, like, multiple first-round picks just for trading away certain guys in the past, like, 5-6 years. Yeah, I know. They've gotten so much. It's disgusting.
Oh my God. Okay, so another West team that we're not so sure about. You and I both weren't over the summer because the Pelicans did acquire DeJounte Murray. They still do not have a starting center. Did you know this? I haven't been paying attention to their preseason. They don't have a starting center. Herb Jones is the rumored starting 5. So I basically think that the Pelicans are going to do the like opt for a center by committee type thing and just make Herb Jones the center. So it's going to be, I guess, a small ball experiment for the Pelicans. I don't know how that's going to end up.
Small ball plus the giant power forward Zion.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. I'm confused.
I don't know either. I think I said preseason that I was like a little bit concerned about the way this team would look.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting for me to just, I don't know, see how they all play together and with Herb Jones at center. That's even weird to say. Center.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's super odd. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just so excited to see how half these teams play. I'm not going to lie.
Amen.
Continuing on in the Western Conference, we have a team that has some people's favorite player in the whole wide world, LeBron James, and his son, Bronny James.
And his bestie and podcast host as the coach.
JJ ready.
Is he ready?
I was going to say,
if they lose?
Is he? No, absolutely not. Of course he's not.
Only Darvin Ham's allowed to be the scapegoat.
Of course, yes. No, so first of all, you love this tweet. I would love to hear your thoughts on LeBron James' tweet about preseason travel. Go ahead.
So if you aren't on the Twitter, LeBron James basically said, because I don't feel the need to quote it word by word, why the F or something like that are we going to Milwaukee for one preseason game?
Like, why am I getting on a plane?
Yes, why am I getting
travel to Milwaukee
for one preseason game? I don't know, because it's your job.
You're literally a billionaire because of this job that you get on a plane for.
As if the Nuggets didn't travel to Abu Dhabi for 2 games?
Across the world.
Do you not do this in the regular, the regular season's a week away?
Say. Yes, they do this in the regular season all the time.
Because you signed a contract that said you would. Like, what do you mean? What are we getting?
22
LeBron.
years ago, mind you. He's been doing this for
you don't have
22
to do this.
years.
You could go. You could have gone, and then we wouldn't have your little son who makes Thanasis Antetokounmpo look like Jayson Tatum on a Lakers team. Kobe is rolling in his grave. I'm so sorry.
I'm so dead. I'm not Thanasis.
He's making Thanasis Antetokounmpo look like the MVP.
Now. Yeah.
I just it's just the most absurd thing that you're actually taking a roster spot away from someone just because you're the son. He had the worst plus minus out of every single player in every NBA player that has played in the preseason. Yeah. He had the worst plus minus.
Yeah, he's been
he did not make a single point, right? Until this last game, or he had like one, I think he had 1 point or like one field goal.
So he had a few-ish, but he was very bad. I have his stats right here from his last 6 games. Okay. These are his last 6 preseason games. And the only reason I want to bring this to people's attention is because obviously it's frustrating. And also I have his rookie counterpart, Dalton Connect. I have his stats as well just to compare them because they are quite different. They are quite different statistics.
Are they?
Okay. They are. Okay, so Bronny James, last game yesterday against the Warriors, which like I do want to preface, the Warriors, I think, just had Steph Curry out. They didn't play big minutes for all their other guys or anything like that, but they did have, like Draymond and Andrew Wiggins and Moses Moody and Kuminga. All their good guys playing still.
Yeah.
Whereas the Lakers did bench 50% of their team and play like their 8 deepest guys. Bronny James played 35 minutes out of a 48-minute game, right? 35 minutes. 17 points, which you're like, that's not, wow, 17 points.
After getting like 0.
Yes. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, but was a minus 37. And granted, everyone on the team was a minus because of how badly they got beat. They did get beat by almost 60, I think.
They got whooped.
Yeah, they got their butts whooped in here. I'm even going to pull it up.
Belt to ass.
Whooped
belt to ass.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to pull it up.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you this while you're pulling it up.
Yeah.
So I'm from the South where belt to ass is very much a thing. And I was cracking up because I was telling my mom, I think after Alabama whooped Georgia, I was like, you know what they say in my generation? Because I think Pat Bev kind of like got it rolling was belt to ass. Yeah. And that's what kind of everyone says. And my mom was like shook because she was like, I can't believe that's politically correct enough for this generation.
I can't even
She was like, I definitely got belt to ass.
Same.
I was just cracking me up because being from the South, okay, like belt to ass is such a Southern term that
totally.
It makes me happy that even, all the people that are like in the West, everyone else kind of has taken it and thinks it's funny and not like abusive.
I love that. Not abusive.
It's just
it's
just funny.
It is. So he was a minus 37, which, like I said, pretty average. Most people were a minus, or everyone was a minus in this game just because of how badly they lost. But he was 1 for 5 from 3, so shooting 20% from 3, and then shooting 43% just from like the field. And so still not awesome. And when you're in the game for 35 minutes and he had the ball a lot. And so like for him to really only make 17 points is pretty sad. I'm not going to lie, because they had another guy who is like another rookie. He's like a third rookie, very deep bench. Olivari. He's the guy that loves Steph Curry that I sent you the video of that was crying. He had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. So, he's another, he was someone that was, super late in the draft. And then you obviously have, that's the best part. They didn't even play Dalton Connect in this game. He's in. Dalton Connect is, in.
Is a monster, and he's also from Denver.
Oh, I know. I love that.
But he went to Tennessee, and now he's on the Lakers. So he's now playing for back-to-back teams that I hate.
Love that for you. So these were the rest of his stats. Against the Suns, he played 17 minutes, had 4 points, 2 rebounds. Against the Warriors, the first time he played 9 minutes, he had 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 block. But the 2 points was his 1 of 7 shots. Okay, he made 1.
And 1 of 7 in how long?
9 minutes. Yeah. Bucks.
Am I crazy, or is that a lot of? Shucking up
he's putting up.
shots.
Yeah. Yep. Bucks, he only played 6 minutes and he had zeros across the board, was like 0 for 3 and was a -12. In a -12 in his 6 minutes on the court. Okay. Against the Suns again, he played 13 minutes, only had 2 rebounds, and was a -16 in his 13 minutes on the court. Against the Wolves, he played 16 minutes. He had 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, -12. Okay. So like this guy's a walking minus. He had 1 game where he was a plus, 1 game. And I do just want to, I don't want to like only talk shit about him because I'm just not like that. He is, he is a great defender. I will say that. He, in every game that he has played, besides the ones where he only played like 6 and 9 minutes and 13 minutes, in the games where he's played, I would say more than like 15 minutes, he does like, in one game he had 3 steals and a block. Another game he had 1 steal and 1 block. Another game he had 3 blocks and 2 steals. Like, so he's trying to make an impact. I just want to say that he's trying. I feel like you and I have talked about this. He's set up for failure. It doesn't matter what he does. He was not ready to be in the NBA. And now he just has to go on the court and try his best. And
while everyone watches him. Yeah. I'm like.
Yeah. So like I said, I appreciate the defensive effort. I was watching him yesterday, obviously because they were playing the Warriors and everything. And I was watching him yesterday, and he is quick on his feet. He really does try on defense. He's someone that does put in the effort. So I know he's trying, but he's just not good.
Yeah.
Sorry,
bud.
Sorry, bud. Do you want to hear Dalton Connect's like stats from the same games? So besides yesterday, because he didn't play yesterday, obviously, because again, he's already in there. He's getting benched with the starters.
He had 33 or 35 points against the Suns. And the Suns like starters, like Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he had 35 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He was all over the place on both sides of the floor. He's so talented. Against the Warriors, the first time, he played 21 minutes, had 19 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. Against the Bucks, he played 34 minutes, and this was probably one of his worst games, but he was helpful on other ends of the court. But he had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. But his shot percentage, like his field goal percentage, was actually still pretty dang good in that game. It's just that when you're playing with LeBron and AD, you don't need to be offensively this perfect masterpiece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then against the Suns, 20 minutes, 7 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Again, he was playing with Anthony Davis and LeBron James in those games. You have all your starters in those games. He doesn't need to be that efficient, or he doesn't need to be putting up those kind of numbers. Against the Wolves, 24 minutes, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. So like he's good on both ends of the floor, and he is someone that is consistent. And for a rookie to be playing against some of the best players, like when you're playing teams like the
seamlessly
Bucks, the Suns, the Wolves,
seamlessly entering and making an impact on the floor.
Yeah, pretty incredible. So that's just I think that the comparison is really interesting between the two rookies on that team.
Okay, the last people we're going to talk about in the West is listen, the jury is out on if the Clippers actually have any fans, but even if there are, it's not a good time to be one. Kawhi Leanord, period. This is why we don't do fucking live shows, you idiots. Kawhi Leanord is out, and I literally have in parentheses, obviously. Are you going to be okay?
You're so funny. That was
I'm
good.
professional. I the show must go on.
You fucking idiots.
Yeah, there's the cackle. Kawhi Leonard is out indefinitely. Obviously, could have told you that one because of inflammation in his right knee. It's the knee. Again, the one that knocked him out of last year's playoffs 2 games into a first-round series with Dallas. A series the Clippers lost in 6 games. Yeah.
And the one that kept him out of the Olympics as well. He dropped out of the Olympics.
The one that Clippers president Lawrence Frank said that the swelling was almost gone after an off-season procedure.
Fine.
So the Clippers signed in January Kawhi to a $153 million contract extension.
Jesus Christ.
And so they literally have to pay basically James Harden and Kawhi Leonard $250 million. So like, you know, Paul George is gone, but even worse, James Harden isn't gone. You know, he's still there.
You said even worse.
Even worse, James Harden is not gone. This is where all your problems lie. James Harden cannot play without Kawhi Leonard, so I don't know what they expect. It's going to be real awkward at their like grand opening of their stadium or arena, whatever you want to call it.
Are they going to sell any tickets?
Is anyone going to show up? Like,
I'm
dead ass.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
But I was like, were you just thinking that Kawhi, after an MCL and an ACL repair, was gonna miraculously
someone who's already injury prone? And
the delusion is commendable because Kawhi he got his ring by being managed most of the season, and that was before the MCL and the ACL tear.
Yeah.
So your optimism and your delusion is impressive, honestly. It's cute. But you guys are screwed. As I said, you guys are going to suck.
You want to know what's so funny?
What?
My last note on the Clippers says, Clippers are screwed.
They are. Very screwed.
Yeah, because he hasn't played at all or anything in the preseason. He hasn't even taken an ounce of contact in the preseason. No. So I don't know why you thought.
Or in practice. In practice.
That's what I'm saying. Like at all, just even in anything.
Yeah. Better luck next decade, as we say in football.
Better luck next time. Yeah. And
we're gonna,
you know what?
Hop on over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and on his counterpart on the other side, who was a Clipper and is now a 76er, Paul George.
Bruce.
Also
we're hopping
out.
over to the East Coast. We're taking a little trip.
Whoop, whoop.
I hate the East Coast. I don't want to be here long, so let's make it snappy.
Okay, well, Paul George is out and he's injured. He has a bone bruise originally.
They said he's supposedly going to be okay. He hyperextended his knee or something.
Yeah, they said he hyperextended his knee, and then they were like, "Oh, it's actually a bone bruise," and so he'll get reevaluated. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But,
basically, Paul George is also never healthy, which was very dumb to put him on a team with Joel Embiid, the king of never playing.
Yes, the king of never healthy. And you know what? I don't even have a lot on Paul George just because I just think it's funny.
He's never healthy.
He's never healthy either. But like you were just mentioning, Mr. Joel Embiid on the same team as him, he did an interview recently, and we have to talk about it just because it's so funny to me. They were talking about just like him and his health and just kind of what that looks like for him, you know, in these coming years. And he said, I have the quote. He said, where am I? If I had to guess, I will probably never play back-to-backs for the rest of my career. Okay. Valid. So, funny thing is that Philly has 15 back-to-backs this season. So we can already mark Joel Embiid out for at least 15 games. And those are just the back-to-backs. That's not even counting the Denver games that we know he'll sit out.
Period.
That's not counting, you know, all the other games that he'll probably be injured for and that he needs to rest for too. Like,
I'm sorry. You get paid to play basketball.
Yeah.
And I listened to Kevin Garnett's podcast on this, and he's so sick of all these players being so sitting out and all that. Like, you're paid to play basketball. I'm sorry, this is your job, and you still get like a 2 to 3 month summer break where like you're working occasionally, but you're not playing.
You're just
we know
working
your job
out.
is hard. You're getting paid millions of dollars. I'm sorry. My dad works on Christmas. Like my parents work almost 365 days a year. They don't get paid millions of dollars. I'm so confused on why you get basically like the summer vacation that a child does for making $130 million every 2 years. And you're like, back-to-backs are not for me. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't care about your league.
Yeah. And you want to know what's so funny too is like, this just tells me that he's going to sit out even more. Okay. Because this was.
At least we don't have to worry about him even being close to the running for an MVP ever again, because he's not going to play enough games.
That's what I was going to say. And so that's the next part that I have is that later on in this interview, he says that now that he has his MVP, he no longer cares about individual accolades. He just wants to win. Like, okay, so play. Show up to the game.
Try and get past the first round first before we talk about winning. Can you like even believe that this man won an MVP like the year that we won the championship, the Nuggets won the championship, and you're going to tell me that this man has never made it out of the first round?
Ever.
Do you know how silly that's going to look? All of these annoying people like Kendrick Perkins and all these people that hate white basketball players, I guess, and are like, I'm choosing Joel Embiid as my center every single time. First of all, he was a turnover machine in the Olympics. The like one game he played well, it was like against Serbia, I think, but the rest of the games he was a turnover machine. And you're going to tell me that the guy that literally just likes to sit out and like just goes to the foul line whenever he wants and can't play unless he gets to just like hang out under the rim and draw contact, that's who you're choosing over like a true selfless facilitator and a guy that has literally led a team with no all-stars, no current all-stars to a championship. But Joel Embiid has all of these people and still can't.
My eye's been twitching the whole time you've been talking about it.
I hate it. I can't. It's just absurd. It's like literally disgusting.
Yep. Yeah. I have nothing else on the matter. Everyone already knows exactly what our brains are thinking. And it's not good.
I'm so excited for the season. I can't believe basketball is back this week. There's games on Tuesday. Obviously, the Nuggets home opener is on Thursday. And it's going to be, I can't wait to just sit and watch basketball all the time.
Before we leave, I want to mention one thing. Okay. Lonzo Ball
is back.
I just want to
after 2.5 years.
Yes. And I just want to shout him out because he looks amazing. He looks so good. I was worried and everything like that, but I've been watching some of his preseason because I feel like how can you not be worried? Again, I've watched my two teams with Klay Thompson and Jamal Murray, be out for a couple of years and then come back. He looks so good. I'm just pulling up my notes. So I was watching him and so it was his right shoulder and everything like that. So his shooting arm and obviously, things like defense, your arms are flying around. It's hard. It's the same thing, obviously if you get a leg injury or whatever, you're running on that shit every day. But like he is not playing scared. And it's been so cool to watch because I feel like it's so easy to play scared when you're coming back for the first time. But like I feel like they really took their time with like moving him back into the game and like ramping him up because he's been like with his right arm, he's been swatting balls. He's been so fast. He's been shooting like crazy. His defense looks fantastic. Like his everything just looks so good. His off-ball movement is amazing. He's played the last couple of games against the Wolves and the Cavs. And he just looks comfortable. He's been playing against like the best of the best. His shot looks fantastic. His catch and shoot threes are beautiful. Like he looks comfortable and he looks healthy. And I think that that's so important. And I think that him being back makes me not have the Bulls at the bottom of the leaderboard. Maybe a few.
Yeah. And Kobe White's incredible.
He is. He's so good. And they've been playing really well together, the two of them. So it's really cool to see.
Good.
Yes, I just wanted to shout out.
It was cute. Yes. His first game back. It was almost 3 years because he had not played a game since January of 2022. So literally almost like 3 months away from being 3 years. That's incredible. So shout out to him.
Yep. And like I said, he looks great. He looks healthy. So I'm hoping for a very healthy, long season for him.
Yay! Go team!
Go team. I'm so excited for basketball. I'm so excited to talk about basketball every single week. I'm going to go crazy.
I can't wait for next weekend to be doing like a week recap. We are so excited. We can't wait to update you guys each week on everything that's happening in the NBA. Listen, the NBA is just it's so good.
It's going to be NBA and NFL for us. Just know that as busy and as tired as we're going to be, we are going to be living the dream.
Yes. There's nothing better than sitting and watching basketball and football, which is exactly why we had to film this early, because Spencer needs to watch the Alabama and Tennessee game that is starting right now, and also the Texas-Georgia game. So we have a lot of sports to watch.
See you later. That's so funny.
And CU's before Texas and Georgia. They're like, I think in like 30 minutes. But yes, we're so excited. We're so happy to be here, and we're so happy that you're here. And we love you guys. And we have all of our socials down below. So if you're just now seeing us, we love to talk to you all on all of the platforms. And we post clips and when the show's coming out, because it used to be on a certain day. And now that we're in season and about to be in 2 seasons, they're just going to be up when we feel like
whatever we want.
We're just going to do what we want because we can. And we love you.
Period.
And love you, miss you, bye.
Love you, miss you, bye. Like, subscribe, comment, love me.
Oh,
love
yeah,
you
please.
back.
Please subscribe, share with your friends and your turtles and all of the other animals that you may have. Let them listen to us while you go run errands.
Turtles.
Especially the turtles. Thanks so much.